Okay, so it's a day late and a dollar short, but we got the next update. And I haven't looked at it yet. I was mildly spoiled by a Reddit post. I was checking to see if anything had happened, and the title of the post didn't look like it was actually, a post saying, "Hey, look, there's an update." So I know that there's been a pretty massive jail change, but that's all I've seen so far. So I knew this was going to be Juul's update, and I assume it's Juul. Is how pretty much I've heard. Everyone I've heard say it is Juul, I think, but I don't know. Roll Tide? This would be Joel Tide maybe, or Jewel Tide for like Yule Tide. I don't know. Depends on how big of football fans Valve employees are. So probably Jewel, I assume. Okay, so the one cool thing, like I mean, I unless Jewel is just broken, um, and I say that I don't know. I played Hobgen when an Essex was broken, so I would probably still main Hobgen. I like his flavor. I like his style. Everybody was predicting that Jewel was going to be a very tank oriented build. So you'd have kind of like where we'd be at right now would be an Essex as a healer, Hobgen as a damage dealer, and Jewel as defense tank kind of thing. But he's from Ice Rack, um, along with Crystal Maiden and Tuskar. Tuskar is very Scandinavian. Juul is very Russian. And his whole thing is like he was the first person to like I guess bring or import alcohol into Whitespire, and so that's how he got power under I assume under Mama Eve. Um, and so with Mama Eve gone, he is trying to uh, take her place, and he very has a very Russian mafioso feel to it, and I may just try to incorporate his audio if I can. If not, I'll like link it or something. His voice lines are really good. Um, I still prefer Hobby. Just I don't know. Fiery Irish fairy. You can't beat that. All right, so let's see what they changed. Okay, big change. Introducing Jewel, proprietor of the Sundered Moon. Jewel is businessman first, criminal second. Did he break a few legs to get where he is? Yes. Did he run a massive smuggling operation? Of course. He has little interest in following the law. He takes great pride in honoring his word. Okay. Again, very mafia feel to it. He feels like only he has the temperament and strength to restore order. Okay, and I know like one of his lines was, uh, "The law left with Mama Eve." That's not true. Mama Eve banished it or something like that. And like he's not interested in bringing lawfulness to White Spire. He just doesn't want there to be like a widespread destruction in the streets, I guess. When things get tough, Joel uses his bootleg wares to gain an edge, either by rolling barrels into his enemies or raising his glass to inspire his crew. Okay. So that's like maybe he has like an offensive and defensive slight. Like he could either buff your troops or he could attack. Interesting. Okay, so new items first. And the new items are going to get revamped. So this is interesting. Okay. Okay. So butterfly, tier 4, 35 damage, 35 speed, 35 evasion. on a tier 4 item, so Mask of Madness is 3. What is 4? 4 is like Radiance? No, Radiance is 5. That feels weak unless they nerf some of the other items. Like, it's not bad. It's a little bit of everything, and it's very. I mean, it's kind of true to basically what it does in Dota, because it gives you agility and evasion in Dota. And if you're an agility hero, that means you get damage. And okay, so yeah, I mean, it seems the numbers seem low to me off the top of my head, but I'll compare them later. Horn of the Alpha. 2 seconds after the battle begins, summon a Thunderhide. So a Thunderhide is one of the rhinos that are round 15 is the wolves. 20 is the bears. 25 is the birds. 30? I mean, it's a tier 5 item. The thing about the Thunderhides, though, is the reason they're so hard to kill is because you either have to burst them immediately or they have like super warlock ability. So, I mean, they do a lot of damage too, obviously. They pretty much 2 or 3 shot everything. So it's going to be powerful, but it might be broken with warlocks. Because the reason that you just can't kill them is because they get their warlock bond off, and assuming it locks with other warlocks, then, like, if you have a witch doctor, if you have a venomancer, then, like, you put this on something that's going to be in front, and as long as your venomancer is in a position where it isn't taking damage, you win the fight. I presume. Okay, so there's gameplay updates. There's Underlord selection flow. Underlords are now picked at round 10. Great. Okay, so this has been a huge circle jerk on Reddit forever because Swim and about 5 other really big streamers were like, oh, it makes no sense to pick your Underlord at level 1. Well, it kind of doesn't. It doesn't fit with the auto chess format of kind of rolling with what you're given. But if you want to play the game in a construction way, if you want to start every match and say I'm going to force scrappies, then it feels fine. Now, for balance reasons, this is a good change. Because the thing about picking your Underlord at first is you don't know what you're going to get. And when you don't know what you're going to get, then no matter what, you are always going to be driven to pick the best Underlord. And because you pick the Underlords first without knowing anything about the boards, you can only compare them to each other. And so there are things you can do to mathematically say this Underlord is better, and it will always have a higher pick rate. Having said that, man, I hate this change. It doesn't, like, I feel like your Underlord is supposed to be you. Now, don't get me wrong, there's voice lines where, as the player, Hobbigan or Jull or an Essex talks to you as the player, right? And, like, says, like, when you're on your main screen, it's like, oh, I'm glad you picked me. But as far as I understood it, they were, like, your representation. They are you. You, as the player, are whatever Underlord you pick, which, to me, makes no damn sense. Like, why in the world are you picking your Underlord at level 10? And if you are, like, are you just some other criminal Underlord and you're recruiting Hobgin? But Hobgin's the one that you're going to make the Lord of Wisefire? Like, it... And I understand it's auto chess. It's not like there's a huge freaking storyline or anything. And maybe I'm just too much of a Dota nerd and I'm into the lore that they've set up for this game, but talents have been converted into fighting styles. Each Underlord has two builds. One will be shown One will be shown at random for each Underlord during the pick phase. Awesome. So they basically reworked talent. I mean, I guess that makes a little more sense. It makes it. I mean, so basically, there's six Underlords. Right. There's two versions of Hobgoblin, two versions of Jull, two versions of an Essex. And you don't know which one you're going to get. So if you're forcing Scrappies, or you're forcing Warriors, or you're forcing Mages, or whatever, if you're playing a construction version, you're not playing the I sit down and pick, then you get to this screen and you say, okay, I am playing Scrappies. Which build from these three Underlord, because of the random build I got for each Underlord, which one benefits Scrappies the most? I mean, okay. This is okay. I'm just gonna have to play it to see how I feel about it. I don't like it. Like on the idea, I like the idea of the Underlord being first. I like the idea of building around your Underlord rather than picking an Underlord to match your board. But I mean, it's just less construction, more RNG. I feel like one thing that this will do is basically if there is some build, like because right now you have three Underlords, two builds each. Um, if one of the builds is overpowered, it could just be an auto win, right? Like, and I mean, it may even be if it's like the difference between an Essex and Hobgoblin when they came out was so stark that I mean, after because for the first 3 days everybody picked everything to play with them, and then everybody figured out how broken an Essex was, and unless you were just a person like me and you're like, I like Hobgoblin, I'm going to play Hobgoblin, uh, you dead picked an Essex. So what this means is like if there's a build possibility that's just broken because the talents are too strong, you auto pick it. But other players might not get that option because what I'm assuming here is that different players are going to get different talent builds. It's going to be fully random between which of the six you get. And the thing about it is that's going to get worse because I mean we're supposed to have 10 underlords sometime eventually, right? There's four. Eno is the fourth one, and he's supposed to be here like in a month or two. Uh, but the more the more underlords you get, especially if they keep it limited to three, then you're gonna have games where it's like, oh, I can't play Hobgoblin, which whatever is fine, I guess. But if there's a or if there is one talent build that's just broken, then the player that gets it's gonna win, which might not be a problem if you didn't have to wait at minimum a week, but I mean, sometimes it's like they ignore things that are broken for months. And you're just saying for a month that this build auto wins? I don't know. Okay, so jailbreak. This is the one I was kind of spoiled on. They got rid of the jail. They kind of got rid of the jail. Like they made it like a monthly thing or a seasonally thing. I guess I'm not sure. Uh, that said, updated. So they got rid of the jail. That said, updated hero roster. Too many heroes in the game, obviously, and they're going to keep adding more. For a full list, click this link. Really? Like I can't. Okay. So I did see this list, but as soon as I realized what I was looking at, I stopped looking at it. So, oh Lord. So is this just every? Do I just need to look at the website instead of the game? Let's go back to the game really quick and just see. I may just go through that. Shorter matches. Thank you. Shorter matches. I clicked the link too many times. And polish. Great. So they're they're saying that they didn't put the patch notes in game.